Oh, I thought Chris was going to put the puppies up for some reason.
Yeah, you know what? Man, when I put in the chat, like, Jesus fucking Christ, pour myself a double and just sat there for a little bit.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the fuck did Jared just make me watch?
Oh,
I mean-
are we going to go straight to the ending at this point?
No, I'm not going to go because
Okay.
like, that was just the icing on the cake. The whole fucking thing was making my like toes flick like castanets.
Oh my God. I kept thinking, can't that girl go sleep on the couch? Does she have to be in
Right?
the room for
Yeah,
all this?
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no other place for
Except
her
I
at
think
all.
Exactly.
Well, but here's the argument, Scott.
She's
I think she secretly
fascinated.
wanted to be there.
That's true. That's
Except
that
for the
push
scene
pull
where
thing
she's
that was going on
fucking
with
bawling.
Yeah. There was a push pull thing with both those sisters. Interesting.
Yeah.
They would fight and they would not see eye to eye, but they're
Like
both
this movie.
But then they would love each other and get
I'm
close.
not a woman and I don't have a sister, so I can't. There's something about the level of cruelty between these two characters that I
Very
think
casual cruelty.
very
Yeah.
casual cruelty. There's probably I'd have to talk to a girl who had a sister and find out whether like I can only like I'm guessing this might be fairly accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pleasant to watch.
Well, because it wasn't pleasant to watch, but they would come. There was genuine affection there
like,
too, which is
that's
so
right.
weird.
Literally,
Yeah.
Yes, it was like a love-hate for sure.
My favorite scene in the whole film is the two sisters laying in the bed together giggling,
Yeah.
talking about stuff. To
Yeah.
me, it was like, that was not only like my favorite scene because it wasn't horrible and icky, but I thought it was really great acting. It was a beautifully directed little scene.
I wanted to
All this,
guy over with a car
yes.
for like an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
But okay, if you want to compare it to the other film, he wasn't in. Yeah, I think he was far less harmful than the other guy.
I think he was just your garden.
Oh, for sure.
Guy
Because probably he was an adolescent. He's a kid.
This
He
is
doesn't know what the
is
fuck he's doing.
this is literally the guy who is just saying what girls want to hear because he wants to get laid. He's not trying to rape anyone or manipulate anyone. He's he is trying to manipulate, but
Yeah,
he just is like he wants consent and he'll say anything he needs to get it.
He's more like those other boys at the drive-in who don't know what they're doing, but they're giving it their best shot.
It's actually kind of interesting. Yeah, it
And
is.
because he's just older than her, he can work it.
Right.
But yeah, it was.
Which
like
is still it's still despicable. Make no mistake.
No argument.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, but
she's-
it's a
she's-
little more.
Well,
It's not as
because
bad
the-
as Arnold Friend.
I mean, that one
she's-
scene, the last Tango in Paris scene, where he gets his consent, but it's sort of consent, and it's still. I mean, just the whole fucking thing, man. I read a couple of things about afterward. I'm like, okay, somebody's got to explain to me why. What is it about this movie that people really, really, really like? And I don't think we've watched any of her other movies on the show, and I guess this is kind of her shtick, to be extremely provocative.
Yeah,
That's what Jared
really
said.
push the boundaries of what makes you comfortable and uncomfortable.
Yeah, this was the first
Cool.
film I saw of hers, and then I went and kind of explored some of her, and she gets, I had to stop at one point because I was like, these are fucking kind of crazy. She one really big one is called Romance, and then she did one called Anatomy of Hell, which was really, really disturbing. But yeah, she's definitely a provocateur, and she's interested in people, relationships, and sex in the way that she's interested in like the ugly side of sex.
Had the movie
This was all ugly sex. There's no doubt
had
about
the
that.
movie ended 10 minutes earlier, I might have gone, well, that was like an interesting companion piece to a movie like Smooth Talk.
Right.
Two sides of the same like it's the French view and the other view of.
In fact, the layout of the families are almost
Dynamics.
identical. Two daughters, mom and dad.
Yeah. No, there's.
right.
I mean, obviously these two movies, it's a good pick. It's a good pairing, right? However, the last 10 fucking minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go there? I want to go.
Well, I don't know what. Honestly, I don't know what else
Before
to talk
we do
about.
this, Chris, indulge me a bit. Just tell me your reaction, literally, when you're watching the film. How you reacted while you're sitting there in the couch and the ending happened.
I got an answer.
My jaw hit the ground and it stayed there for about 10 minutes. Well, after the credits rolled.
Uh-huh.
Do you know what I said?
Like literally.
I woke my family up. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this.
I couldn't do that
3
to my
times
wife.
because it just got worse and worse and worse.
It was,
Okay, here's what I yelled out on the couch.
Jesus in the bottom drawer.
Oh, fuck. Thanks a lot, Jared. I think those were literally my words.
Well, you guys know I
just
couldn't let
wanna
you
know
out.
what
I
the
couldn't
fuck-
let you
I mean,
guys out for nothing, like for free.
Even if the whole point is there's no fucking point to it other than to get that last line from Anais, which is don't believe me then.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, we talked the opening scene is them talking about losing their virginity, and Anais is like, I want to lose it to somebody I don't fucking care about.
Yeah, well, she got her wish.
Well, yeah, she did. She got.
I mean, God.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just that was the most O. Henry thing I've ever seen. I mean, it was like
horrible, man.
you're running along, and the thing is, it's great because the
this
setup is like you're falling asleep on the freeway.
Yeah.
Entire scene was nerve-wracking enough.
Yeah, it was.
I was actually getting less nervous as it went on. We got the traffic and thing, and everyone's like that. I think
No, I agree with Chris. I think that's like foreshadowing.
I was maybe
again, like the other movie, it's similar in also the structure is so fucking weird in that it's like it feels like the movie wraps up at like an hour and then there's 20 minutes of her driving in traffic.
Yes.
It's just like, what's going on?
I'm here going, I'm actually
and then there's that ending.
I'm watching this ending going, okay, all this traffic. You know, French really can't make movies, can they? And that's
it just seemed so fucking like, what did you just run out? Did you realize your movie was too short, so you filmed them driving home?
Really
and then you got the thing where she's trying to lull you into a sense of complacency. So this maniac can put it.
Well, certainly it wasn't anything where any of us were like, "Oh, I know where this is going."
I know. I did not for a million years think that was going to happen. That was completely
surprised. This is the punchline, Jared fucker. I had to rewind it and watch it again because I'm like, is this a guy that, because of the angle and the lighting, I'm just not recognizing? Is this the guy from earlier?
Dude, same thing. I had to rewind it and watch it again because I thought it was a young guy.
Because I'm like, that's what I thought too.
Yeah. No, that's the thing.
Guys look alike to me.
It's
just some random guy.
It's just some random
psychopath.
That's the thing. Like, I get it. No, man, this is a totally new character. We've never seen him before. He's fucking random, and he just decides to break through the window with a fucking hammer and beat a girl to death with it, and then strangle the mom so he can rape the other daughter. Awesome.
You know what? I'm actually going to fault him.
Spoiler alert.
Weirdly enough.
Spoiler alert, everyone.
Because I was rewinding it and watching it a second time out to see who it was. I realized that actually the pacing's not very good in this attack. It's like
no, it
actually really fast breaks the window, then 1, 2, 3, and the mom didn't sleep. You're making it sounds like the mom's sleeping through this.
But I think that's a very French. I think she was sort of, and I think that's a very French thing. I mean,
deep into alpha, I was asleep. You got the B to sleep. She's an R. Your goddamn
you don't notice that your daughter was just murdered with a hammer in the seat next to you.
The fucking she's an REM
sleeper, man.
But I think it's cut.
That horrible coda where they gotta like, let's just lovingly look at the gashed open head of the young daughter so we can go look at the mom and focus on the fact that her fucking foot came out of the shoe.
The shoe broke. She broke the shoe, dude.
Yeah. I know, it was awful.
Yeah,
and the
but
weird
I
thing
think
is the daughter, the other one, the other daughter was just kind of sitting there watching it all.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, she had a little spray of broken glass across.
See, I think that whole thing is
part of the movie.
I think that whole thing is very French. I think it's very.
I'll second that.
They're not going to do action like Americans do action. They're going to give it these weird beats. They're going to give it these weird breaths, and that's what you see at that ending, right? And
this is the second just before it happens.
You know, an American film would have had. The Anais would have been screaming and crying and trying to jump out of the car
and things like that.
Yeah,
that's what I was trying to figure out. Is her reaction was so dulled.
But that's literally the opening title. When they put the name of the movie, that's the shot,
right,
of her staring at the fucking attacker.
I know,
and not doing anything.
Really?
It's
I don't know if I ever caught that.
That's the first shot.
I put it in the fucking chat when I was watching the movie. When they put the title up with the name of the movie, that's the shot.
Yeah, it wraps around. Yeah.
That's very cool. Wow, I never knew that. I mean, from a filmmaking standpoint, I think that's kind of fucking rad.
Honestly, Jared, this is like dangerously close to being as like.
But you know what? I was
on its face as repellent as Funny Games, but I need somebody to tell me what the point of that whole thing was.
I'll go. Hand.
Well, yeah, go ahead, Scott. Go ahead.
Okay. One thing we were talking earlier about this, and I compared it to Jeanne Dielman. And
yeah, I thought of that too a little bit.
The thing is, that film is
Yeah.
they're both feminist films from feminist filmmakers, and they both end almost the same way through
in this like
bloodshed.
violent thing.
Violent, sudden
that's right.
bloodshed.
You did mention that.
And I
but
think
hold on.
All right.
Jeanne Dielman, like that's like there's a thread line that you can go, oh, this is her having like a fucking breakdown, and when she gets all the way to the end, like you can go, I can kind of see why she would grab the scissors and stab that guy.
Right.
Really?
Random fucking. We talked about it. This is a completely fucking random stranger who has never been in any other scene.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
No,
I'll give you that too. I'll give you that too. But again, going back to what I briefly said about smooth talk, this again is a little bit of watch out what you wish for, you just might get it. Like, because again, Anais is like, I want it to mean nothing. I don't even want to know him. I just want it to happen and get it over with. And then I can meet someone good. And then this is like a sicko saying, well, what's the worst version of that? You know, like
Exactly.
we're gonna.
This is why I said to John, it's actually come off as a comedy if you look at it a certain way. You know, it's like
I mean, I don't know.
Set up, payoff.
I wasn't laughing, but
no, neither was I.
But yeah, no, it's disturbing. Obviously, it's disturbing. But I think
it is kind of like Jeanne Dielman, because I mean, she's also almost completely off camera, sort of dealing with men.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
And this is the movie where these two sisters are sort of navigating, you know, sexuality and men and negotiating what's going to happen with their bodies with men. And then at the end, there's no negotiation at all, obviously.
No.
But Jeanne Dielman takes the upper hand. She's the
second wave feminism is again. They don't have agency over the body. Men are brutal, and they will.
So there's another version of this movie where the guy from earlier doesn't get the sister, gets frustrated and leaves.
Right.
Comes back again at the end, kills the mom and the sister, and then rapes this one. And that, as fucked up as that would be, at least I could go, yeah, there's a through line there.
Right. Yeah.
Or there's a non-horror movie version of this where he doesn't get
random.
Where he doesn't get the older sister, and he actually goes for the little sister as sort of a consolation prize. Like,
right.
I mean, that's a different. It's not a horror. You know, it doesn't have a tinge of horror.
Plays one off the other.
Right. It's just. I mean, that's a different version.
Well, Chris, I think the through line is that all men are pigs.
Yeah.
Or they're bears, right? Well, bears are better.
Sociological rather than a narrative.
Go back to this.
Yeah.
Yes, right. It's a sociological statement.
It's what men are and what men aren't, and what they do to women, and that kind of thing. And that's the story. And also the thing about the young man who falls in love and basically whatever with the thing with the mauve opal ring, and he stole it from his mom. And mom comes over and says, every piece of jewelry is a symbol of a conquest I've had over a man, and I need this back. And it's like the son is exposed as a complete and utter boob at the the film. He's good, and it's great.
Oh, he's awful. And I tell you, every awful minute of him pawing her and touching her face and stuff, I was just like, talk about your toes curling, Chris.
But at the end,
those are the ickiest seduction and makeup. There was so much. There's so much unpleasant making out in these movies.
When he essentially does sort of date rape her when he.
Without question.
Before they actually have sex.
The Tango in Paris scene.
Yeah, when he's like, the back door, like when that's
You'll
like a
still
gift.
be a virgin.
Yeah, like that manipulative.
That's the thing, man. Like I'm like, yeah, this is realistic.
That's that's actually a pretty French thing.
And is he humiliated at the end of this movie though?
Oh, well, his mom takes him away, and he gets to give the ring back.
You don't really. I mean, there's no.
I mean, he had a goal.
There's no real comeuppance for the guy.
No, he's suddenly
he
had what? In the movie again.
He didn't get what he wanted. He wanted her. He had to go away. It's like, and his mom got to like.
No, well, if you look at it as did he get what he wanted? Yes, he did.
Well, yeah.
But if he really did want to be with her, though, he doesn't get that. No.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even believe that. I mean, the opal is like I got to give her something to get her to like.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't even know if he really wanted to be with her. I think he was just saying that shit to.
I thought he was like, that ring came out of a vending machine somewhere downtown, right? But nonetheless, it's like the thing is that it was weird because it's actually the sense of complacency thing. And it's like these girls they're exploring sexuality. They're going to learn how men work. and there's this one boob who goes over and he kind of messes things up, and you're seeing men are vulnerable and dumb just like we are, right? Then at the end, another thing is demonstrated. The other thing being that
a literal monster of a man.
they are literally monsters and violent monsters who will put you an axe in your head, you know. So
But is the message then that
as a feminist statement, it's making two statements.
is it saying that they're all basically the same? It's just the level of force that they apply to get what they want.
The amount of patheticness, basically. It's like
is there a sympathetic male character in this movie? Maybe
even the dad is kind of he's not interested.
Horrible, man.
He's not interested.
He's like, I gotta go to work.
Yeah.
Okay. So there is not one.
He hates taking vacation.
Guy in this movie.
Yes.
At least the dad in Smooth Talk wasn't great, but he was, he's sympathetic. He loved his family.
I mean, had I had daughters, this may be a movie that I may have forced them to watch when they old enough.
Well,
okay. Let them know what they're up against.
What they're up against.
Yes,
yeah.
I have a couple nieces that are at the right age I'm not going to show them these films.
No, but I mean, if I found out that my older daughter,
Uncle Scott, don't do that.
I know it's bad. I'd be bad uncle if I did that.
Yes.
All my sisters.
Yeah, and let's make no mistake. Obviously, these are representations of some of the worst aspects of humanity and men. Not the norm. Hopefully,
I'm also filtering this through second wave feminism.
I would argue that the younger guy is a pretty accurate. Like I definitely knew that fucking guy growing up.
Oh yeah, for sure. We all did.
Like it's pretty. I think that's boilerplate guy trying to say whatever he can do to get what he wants in that moment.
Right.
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Yep, I knew that guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean.
Also, I just say
that's a very real person.
I just want to point this out one more time.
Mission accomplished. I was very provoked.
All French girls are gorgeous. God damn.
Oh my
Mom's
gosh.
gorgeous. The daughters are gorgeous. They're just. There's something about the genes, man. They all look great. That's all. In that respect, it's pleasant to watch.
Do I? What was the thing we watched about the? What was that thing we watched about the immigrants hiding in the closet of a?
I know what you're talking about. That's one I didn't tape. I remember.
Yeah, and then at the end it gets like really horrible and mean and depressing. And this is kind of like
which one was that?
It's almost like that, except there's more like that's
I forget
actually
what the movie was called, but it was basically about immigrants having to like
in Belgium trying to grow marijuana or something like that. And
Tori and Lokita.
Tori Lokita, yeah. And they all, I think
would put this. You want to get really fucking sad, watch this movie and that movie, and you want to fucking kill yourself at the end.
Although I don't think it's just too sudden to be sad. It's like, it's like
no,
he's talking about the manipulation from the dickhead guy.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's pretty sad.
Yeah, all right.
The whole thing is just profoundly depressing, and it's profoundly depressing, and then it gets like whatever. I don't even know how to.
But I would argue here that both, she wasn't interested in the parents are both kind of horrible people too, like in their own ways, right? Like it's really about these sisters. I mean, that's what it's about, and because the mom, even though she's more sympathetic than the father, she's really not present. I mean, she's really not involved.
She's kind of checked out too.
But when you get to the very, 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 very end, and the one sister is looking at the body of her other sister, does she seem particularly broken up to you?
No,
she
it's
doesn't
like
at
she
all.
had it arranged.
But like, there's some. I mean, you could argue things like people can be in shock. People can be, I don't know.
She's in that moment being manipulated by the fucking cops.
Right. Yeah.
Well, kids,
and it's got and the final shot is is very 400 blows. It's very that throwback to just freeze it on that final
freeze it
on that face.
She's kind of smirking.
She is kind of smirking. She's kind of like, I got what I want. I mean, there's a little bit of like, haha, I got what I wanted, and I'm not gonna fucking tell anybody about it.
Man,
it's so weird. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
a great, big, wide, wonderful world we live.
Oh, there it is. Okay, there it is. All right, well, you want to go to the cards in this one? Are we done?
I don't know how.
I don't have anything else to add. It's like
I'm here again. I'll never watch that again. Thanks, Jared.
I will never fucking watch this again. I mean,
I like films that surprise me, and this film surprised
it fucking did.
If the filmmaker's pure goal is to provoke this kind of a reaction out of the audience, mission accomplished.